I'm sitting in a Denny's parking lot in Tucson at 2 in the morning, and I just realized I spent 4 years of my life being someone's backup plan. My hands are shaking so bad I can barely hold my phone. I need to write this down before I lose my nerve. Before I convince myself it wasn't that bad. Before I start making excuses for her again. Her name was Vanessa. We met at the University of Arizona in the fall of 2019. I was a junior studying computer science. She was a sophomore in communications. We matched on Tinder. Her profile had this picture of her at Sabino Canyon with her dog, a golden retriever named Biscuit. Her bio said, "Looking for someone who can keep up." I thought it was cute. I had no idea what I was signing up for. Our first date was at Gentle Ben's on University Boulevard. She showed up 20 minutes late, didn't apologize, and spent the first 10 minutes on her phone. But when she finally looked up and smiled at me, I was gone. She had this way of making you feel like you were the only person in the world when she gave you her attention. Dark hair, brown eyes, this laugh that made everyone around her turn and look. I was hooked, instantly. We started dating officially in October. At first, everything was perfect. We'd get breakfast burritos from Nico's Taco Shop on 4th Avenue, study together at the main library, go hiking at Tumamoc Hill on weekends. She'd text me constantly, good morning texts, random memes, pictures of Biscuit doing stupid dog things. I thought I'd found the one, but there were red flags. I just didn't want to see them. She'd cancel plans last minute. We'd have dinner scheduled at 7 p.m., and at 6:45 she'd text, "Sorry babe, something came up with my roommate. Rain check?" It happened once, then twice, then every other week. I'd already be dressed, sometimes already in my car heading to pick her up. She was weird about her phone. Like, really weird. She'd flip it face down whenever I was near, angle it away when she was texting, take calls in another room. When I asked about it, she'd say I was being paranoid or controlling. "You don't trust me?" she'd say. And I'd feel like an asshole for even bringing it up. And then there was Marcus. Marcus was her best friend from high school. That's how she introduced him. They'd grown up together in Phoenix, went to Desert Vista High School, stayed close when they both came to U of A. He was pre-med, played club soccer, had that confident pretty boy thing going. I met him in November at a party in some house off Speedway. Vanessa barely introduced us, just said, "This is my boyfriend," and then spent the next hour laughing at his jokes while I stood there holding a warm Bud Light. "They're just friends," I told myself. "You're being insecure." By December, I'd started noticing patterns. She'd be glued to her phone when we were together, but if I texted her, it might take hours to get a response. "Sorry, my phone died," she'd say. Or, "I was studying and didn't see it." But her Instagram stories would show her out with friends. Phone clearly working fine. One night, right before winter break, I drove to her apartment on 6th Street to surprise her with takeout from Feast. We'd been dating 2 months, and I wanted to do something nice. When I got there, Marcus's white Jeep was parked outside. I sat in my car for 10 minutes, stomach in knots, before I went up and knocked. Vanessa answered in sweatpants and one of Marcus's soccer hoodies. I could see his last name printed on the back. "Hey, what are you doing here?" She looked surprised, maybe annoyed. "Brought you dinner. Thought we could hang." "Oh, that's sweet, but Marcus and I are working on a project for his biology class. I'm helping him study." At 9 p.m. "Yeah?" She crossed her arms. "Is that a problem?" Marcus appeared behind her. "Hey man, thanks for the food drop-off." He said it friendly enough, but there was something in his eyes, like he knew something I didn't. I left the food and drove home. Didn't eat dinner that night. Couldn't. When she came back from winter break in January 2020, things got weird. She was distant, distracted. We'd be mid-conversation, and she'd just zone out, staring at her phone. Sex dropped off completely. We went from a couple times a week to maybe once a month, and when we did, it felt mechanical, like she was going through the motions. "Is everything okay?" I asked one night in my apartment off Cherry Avenue. We were watching something on Netflix, her on one end of the couch, me on the other. "Yeah, why?" "You just seem, I don't know, different." "I'm fine. Just stressed about classes." But she wasn't fine. I could feel her pulling away. And instead of asking why or setting boundaries, I doubled down. I started trying harder, more dates, more gifts, more texts. I bought her flowers from Trader Joe's every week. I'd bring her coffee from Cartel before her 8 a.m. class. I'd drive her to the vet when Biscuit needed shots. I became the guy who would drop everything to help her move furniture, or pick up her prescription from Walgreens, or listen to her complain about her roommate drama for hours. And she let me. She never said thank you. She never reciprocated. But she let me keep doing it. My roommate Tyler started calling me out. Dude, she's using you. She's not. When's the last time she did something nice for you? I couldn't answer. When's the last time she prioritized you over her friends? Or Marcus? They're just friends. Keep telling yourself that. March 2020 hit, and COVID shut everything down. We all went remote, scattered to our hometowns. Vanessa went back to Phoenix. I stayed in Tucson because my lease didn't end until May. We tried the long-distance thing for a while, FaceTime calls, texting, the usual. But she became even more distant. Calls got shorter. Texts got drier. She'd post Instagram stories at parties with friends, no masks, clearly not taking the pandemic seriously, while telling me she was staying home and being safe. And Marcus was in every other story. One night in April, I saw a video she posted. It was a group of them at some house party in Scottsdale. Music blaring, people dancing, and there was Marcus, his arm around her waist, both of them laughing. The video was up for maybe 2 hours before she deleted it. I called her immediately. Hey babe, what's up? Were you at a party tonight? Silence. Yeah, just a small thing with high school friends. Was Marcus there? Yeah. So? Your arm was around each other. Oh my God, we were just dancing. You're being ridiculous. Am I, because it looked like what? You think I'm cheating on you? Seriously? Her voice got sharp. I can't believe you don't trust me. After everything. And just like that, I was the bad guy. I apologized. I told her I was just stressed and lonely and overthinking. She accepted the apology but stayed cold for the next week. That became the pattern. I'd notice something off, bring it up, and she'd flip it on me. I was paranoid. I was controlling. I didn't trust her. And every time, I'd backtrack and apologize and try harder to prove I wasn't those things. Summer of 2020 was hell. We barely talked. She was busy all the time hanging with friends, working at her dad's dental office, doing whatever. I was in Tucson, working a part-time gig at Target on Broadway, alone in my apartment, losing my mind. In August, she texted me, I think we need to talk. My stomach dropped. I called her immediately. What's going on? I don't think this is working anymore. The distance is hard, and I feel like we're in different places. What do you mean different places? I mean, I'm figuring out what I want, and I don't know if I can give you what you need right now. Vanessa, I love you. We can make this work. She sighed. I know you do, but I need space. I think we should take a break. A break or a breakup? A break. Just for a little while. To figure things out. I should have said no. I should have told her that breaks are bullshit. That she was either in or out. But I didn't. I agreed because I was terrified of losing her completely. We went on a break for 3 weeks. She didn't call once. Didn't text except to respond to mine. And even then it was one-word answers. Meanwhile, her Instagram showed her living her best life, beach days in Rocky Point, dinners with friends, hiking trips. And Marcus was in half the pictures. After 3 weeks she called, I think I'm ready to try again. Just like that. No explanation, no apology. Just, I'm ready. And I took her back. Of course I did. Fall semester 2020 started, and we were back on campus. I thought things would get better in person, but they didn't. She was busier than ever, sorority events, study groups, projects with Marcus. We'd make plans and she'd cancel. I'd ask to see her and she'd say she was tired, but she always had energy for everyone else. I started losing weight, couldn't sleep, my grades slipped. My friends stopped inviting me places because all I did was talk about Vanessa. I became obsessed with checking her Instagram, her Snapchat location, trying to piece together where she was and who she was with. It was pathetic, and I knew it, but I couldn't stop. One Friday night in October, I showed up at her apartment unannounced. Her roommate, Jess, answered the door. Is Vanessa here? Jess looked uncomfortable. She's out. Out where? I don't know, man. She didn't say, but her car was parked outside. I checked her location on Snapchat. She was at an apartment complex on Mountain Avenue, the one where Marcus lived. I sat in my car for an hour, debating whether to drive over there. I didn't. I went home, drank half a bottle of cheap vodka from Circle K, and passed out on my bathroom floor. The next morning, Vanessa texted like nothing happened. Morning, babe. Want to get brunch? I said yes. We went to the Screamery, got ice cream, walked around downtown. She held my hand, laughed at my jokes, kissed me in front of Hotel Congress, and for a few hours, I felt like maybe I'd been wrong. Maybe things were fine. But that night, I saw Marcus's Instagram story. It was from the night before, him and Vanessa on his couch, watching a movie, her head on his shoulder. The caption, "Movie nights with the best." I called her immediately, voice shaking. Were you with Marcus last night? Yeah. I told you I was hanging with friends. You said you were studying. I never said that, you assumed. You're on his couch with your head on his shoulder. We're friends. Oh my God, why are you stalking my friends' Instagrams? Because you lied to me. I didn't lie. You're being crazy. We fought for an hour. She cried, said I was suffocating her, that she couldn't be in a relationship with someone who didn't trust her. And once again, I apologized. I told her I'd work on my trust issues. I promised to give her space. By November, I was a shell. I'd given up hobbies, stopped seeing friends, spent every free moment either with her or waiting for her to text back. My therapist, I'd started seeing one through Campus Health Services, told me the relationship was toxic, that I was losing myself. She doesn't love you, he said bluntly. Or if she does, she loves you in a way that's hurting you. But I love her. That's not enough. I knew he was right, but I couldn't let go. December 2020, finals week. I was drowning in assignments I'd neglected all semester, barely sleeping, running on Monster Energy drinks and anxiety. Vanessa was MIA, claimed she was swamped with her own finals. I texted her multiple times a day just to check in, and she'd respond hours later with, "Can't talk, studying." On December 18th, the last day of finals, I finished my last exam and drove straight to her apartment. I had this whole plan. I'd bring her flowers, take her to dinner at Vivace to celebrate the end of the semester, tell her how much she meant to me. When I got there, Marcus's Jeep was parked outside again. This time, I went up, knocked hard. Vanessa answered. She was in pajamas, hair messy, no makeup. Behind her, I could see Marcus on the couch. "What are you doing here?" she asked, and there was no warmth in her voice. "I wanted to surprise you, take you to dinner. I'm not really in the mood." "Are you serious? We haven't hung out in 2 weeks." Marcus stood up, walked over. "Hey man, maybe give her some space." "Who the fuck are you to tell me about space?" I snapped. "Whoa." Marcus raised his hands. "I'm just saying she's tired. We've all had a rough week." "We?" Vanessa stepped between us. "You need to leave. Not until you tell me what's going on. Are you sleeping with him?" Her face went blank. "That's none of your business. We're dating." "It's absolutely my business. We're on another break." My brain short-circuited. "What? I texted you 3 days ago. I said I needed space." I pulled out my phone, scrolling frantically. There it was, a text I'd somehow missed. "I need some time to think. Let's take a break again." I'd been so buried in finals, I hadn't even seen it. You can't decide we're on a break without actually talking to me. I tried. You didn't respond. I was taking finals. That's not my problem. I looked at Marcus, standing there with his arms crossed, smug expression on his face. Then back at Vanessa, who looked at me like I was a stranger, like I was the inconvenience. "Are you fucking him? Get out. Tell me the truth. Get out." I left, drove to the Denny's on Speedway, sat in the parking lot, and cried for the first time in years. Ugly, choking sobs that made my chest hurt. I called Tyler, barely coherent. "She's done with me. She's with Marcus. I wasted a year of my life, then stop wasting more," he said. "Block her. Move on." I didn't. I texted her the next day. And the day after, long, rambling messages about how much I loved her, how we could fix this, how I'd do better. She didn't respond to any of them. A week later, on Christmas Eve, she finally replied, "I think we should officially end things. This isn't healthy for either of us." I called her. She didn't answer. I called again and again. On the fifth try, she picked up. "What? Please don't do this. I love you. I know. But it's not enough." "What does that mean?" "It means I don't feel the same way. I haven't for a long time." The words hit me like a truck. "How long? Does it matter?" "Yes," she sighed. "Since maybe May. I don't know. I stayed because you're a good guy, but I don't want to be with you." "So, you've been lying to me for 8 months." "I wasn't lying. I was trying to figure out what I wanted." "Were you sleeping with Marcus?" Silence. "Vanessa, not while we were officially together." "What the fuck does that mean?" "It means during the breaks, yeah. We hooked up. I felt like I was going to throw up." "How many times?" "I don't owe you details." "How many times?" "A few." "I don't know." I hung up, blocked her number, deleted Instagram, Snapchat, everything. I spent Christmas break at home in Flagstaff, barely leaving my room, ignoring my family's questions about why I looked like death. By January 2021, I'd convinced myself I was over it. I threw myself into school, got a new job at a coffee shop on campus, started working out at the rec center. I told myself I was better off, but I wasn't. I was angry at her for using me, at Marcus for being the guy she actually wanted, at myself for being stupid enough to stay. And then, in March, I saw them together at Gentle Ben's, same place we had our first date. They were at a table on the patio, laughing, his hand over hers. She looked happy, happier than she ever looked with me. I turned around and walked straight out. Went home, punched a hole in my bedroom wall, and sobbed. That's when it hit me. I didn't just lose a girlfriend. I lost a year and a half of my life being someone's safety net. Someone she kept around because I was convenient, because I'd do anything for her, because I loved her more than I loved myself. It's been almost 4 years since we broke up. I heard through friends that she and Marcus dated for about 6 months after we ended. Then they broke up too. Apparently, he got tired of her flakiness and manipulation. Karma, I guess. I'm in a better place now. I graduated, got a decent job as a software developer in Phoenix, started therapy, and actually learned to set boundaries. I've dated a few people, nothing serious yet, but I'm okay with that. The thing is, I still think about her sometimes, not because I miss her, but because I'm still processing what happened. How I let someone treat me like an option for so long. How I gave everything and got nothing. I loved too hard, and I got nothing in return. And the worst part? I can't even blame her entirely. She showed me who she was 100 times, and I chose not to see it. I chose to believe that if I just loved her enough, tried hard enough, sacrificed enough, she'd eventually feel the same way. But that's not how love works. And I learned that the hardest way possible. Thanks for sticking with me through this whole mess. I know it's heavy, and honestly, it's hard to even think about sometimes, let alone share with strangers on the internet. If this story resonated with you, or if you've been through something similar, I'd love if you could subscribe to Reddit Daily Dose. There's something cathartic about sharing these experiences, and knowing that other people have been through the same pain makes it a little easier to carry. Take care of yourselves out there. And remember, you deserve someone who chooses you without hesitation.